warm welcome here to this great setting for the unveiling of the jerseys and the route of the 2018 Abu Dhabi Tour. Very warm welcome to all of you here. This race is held under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Hazza bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Vice Chairman of Abu Dhabi Executive Council. Now, this race, of course, has had 3 editions so far. This is the 4th edition of the race that we are going to unveil to you right now. And we have even more to give you in 2018, because this race, of course, is the only World Tour race in the UAE, and we are going to add even more spice to it in this year's edition. So we've got lots to tell you. We're going to unveil the jerseys, we're going to tell you all about the route, and we're going to meet some special guests as well. It's great to see some familiar faces here in the room as well to join us here for this presentation. Well, of course, last year we saw a magnificent race. The 2017 edition was again very hard fought. We started off on day number 1 with a great sprint where we saw Mark Cavendish take the victory. And of course, he was very proud to pull on the first leader's jersey. On day number 2, it was Marcel Kittel who took the stage victory. He then went on to dominate the sprints in the 2017 Tour de France. He was certainly setting out his stall early in Abu Dhabi to go on and show how good he was in the middle of the season. On day number 3, on the famed climb now of Jebel Hafid, we saw Rui Costa. He pleased everyone in the UAE because, of course, he rides for the UAE team. Rui Costa took the victory on Jebel Hafid and clinched the red jersey. It eventually gave him the race victory on the final day. And then we went to the Yas Marina circuit and we saw another great sprint, and we saw the Aussie sprinter Caleb Ewan eventually clinch that stage under the floodlights that we have got used to in the Abu Dhabi Tour. We saw Rui Costa take the red jersey. We'll see the red jersey later on today. We saw Mark Cavendish take the green jersey. Back-to-back victories in that competition. The white jersey on the shoulders of Julien Alaphilippe, a real young hope of world cycling. And Patrick Conrad took the black jersey as well. So I think we've already set the stall out for the Abu Dhabi Tour over the last few years, but this year is going to leave the suspense to the very last minute. Well, before we unveil the route, before we unveil the jerseys, please welcome up onto the stage His Excellency Mr. Aref Al Awani, who of course is from the Abu Dhabi Sports Council.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نتوجه في البداية بأسماءات الشكر والتقدير لسمو الشيخ حزة بن زايد آل نهيان، نائب رئيس المجلس التنفيذي لإمارة أبوظبي، لرعايته المتواصلة لطواف أبوظبي العالمي وصولا للنسخة الرابعة. ونؤكد أن النجاحات الرياضية التي نشهدها ما هي إلا نتاج للرؤية السديدة للقيادة الحكيمة التي تولي التقدم الرياضي أهمية كبيرة وتتطلع بخططها التنموية لتعزيز حضوره الفاعل على الساحة العالمية. كما نشيد بتوجيهات ومتابعة سمو الشيخ نهيان بن زايد آل نهيان رئيس مجلس أبوظبي الرياضي لخطط استضافة أبوظبي لأهم وأبرز الفعاليات الرياضية العالمية. ونتقدم أيضا بالشكر للاتحاد الدولي للدراجات الهوائية. حضورنا الكريم، ستشهد النسخة الرابعة لطواف أبوظبي إضافات مهمة في المسارات المعتمدة بما يتماشى مع أهدافنا لجعل المسارات ذات جاذبية أكبر للمشاهدين والمتسابقين، وأيضا لرفع وتيرة التحدي على صدارة الترتيب العام للطواف بصفة شاملة. كما تمثل هذه الخطوة محطة مهمة للترويج وإبراز معالم أبوظبي بصفة أكبر وتنوع رائع، وفق رؤيتنا الساعية لترسيخ مكانة أبوظبي كعاصمة عالمية للرياضة ومنصة حيوية لتلاقي نجوم العالم بمختلف الرياضات والثقافات، بما يدعم تعزيز أهدافنا بجعل الرياضة نمط الحياة المثالية لأفراد المجتمع. نشعر بفخر كبير بوصول طواف أبوظبي لنخبة السباقات العالمية والسباق الوحيد ضمن الروزنامة العالمية للاتحاد الدولي للدراجات الهوائية في منطقة الشرق الأوسط. ولم تأتي هذه الخطوات من فراغ، بل نتيجة عوامل عدة يقف في مقدمتها الدعم المباشر من القيادة الرشيدة وما تتمتع به إمارة أبوظبي من بنى تحتية متكاملة، بجانب الشراكات الحكومية الفاعلة بين مختلف الجهات والدوائر والتلاحم الوطني من كافة المؤسسات الخاصة لدعم نجاح الحدث، الأمر الذي يمثل مصدر فخر لمجتمع الإمارات وأبوظبي بهذه الصورة الوطنية الرائعة. الحضور الكريم، سنعمل مع شركائنا يدا بيد للمحافظة على هذه المكانة والتفوق عليها ببصمات أبوظبي التي تبهر العالم في التنظيم بكافة جوانبه، كما سنحرص على تحقيق تفاعل مجتمعي أكبر عبر العديد من الأنشطة والفعاليات المصاحبة، والعمل على مواصلة البرامج الثقافية المدرسية لتوسيع قاعدة ممارسة رياضة الدراجات الهوائية بأهداف تشجيع الصغار والشباب لممارسة هذه الرياضة التي تعد وسيلة مثالية لضمان نمط حياة صحية، بما يتماشى مع أهدافنا في مجلس أبوظبي الرياضي. إن مجلس أبوظبي الرياضي يتطلع مع شركائه لتحقيق نجاحات مضاعفة وبصمات جديدة تعزز المنجزات والأرقام المميزة التي حققتها النسخ الماضية لطواف أبوظبي، الذي جاء لترسيخ ريادة العاصمة كعاصمة عالمية للرياضة، موطنا للسلام والتسامح وتلاقي الثقافات. كما نؤكد للجميع التزام مجلس أبوظبي الرياضي الكبير بأعلى المعايير التنظيم وإخراج الحدث بأبهى صورة لتقديم الطواف بنسخته العالمية الرابعة بطريقة مميزة من خلال البث التلفزيوني المباشر للعالم، والسعي لإرضاء كافة المشاهدين بجانب عوامل استضافة المشاركين ونوعية الفرق والنجوم الذين تمت دعوتهم للتنافس على ألقاب المراحل الخمسة في طواف أبوظبي. ختاما، نتقدم بالشكر والتقدير لكافة الشركاء والداعمين من جهات حكومية وخاصة ورعاة ومتطوعين من فريق مارش الإمارات لدورهم البارز في تحقيق علامات النجاح والتفوق لمسيرة طواف أبوظبي في كل عام، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much to His Excellency Mr. Aref Al Awani, the General Secretary of Abu Dhabi Sports Council. Well, he's given us a bit of a flavour of what is going to happen here in Abu Dhabi. We're getting very close, of course, to this year's race because we are just about a month from the start, which will be on the 21st of February to the 25th of February, rounding off some fantastic races here in the UAE, and being the first and only World Tour race in the UAE, it's fitting that it brings all of those races to its conclusion. Well, those of you who've not seen the Abu Dhabi Tour, we wonder where you've been, but of course we must tell you a little bit about it. We'll show you a video now of what this race is all about.
Cycling world.
Step forwards, the battle is now really on Team Sky.
A race against time.
Mark Cavendish on his wheel. Hewitt's going to take this victory, is he? Can he hold on? Kittle low. Kittle on the death.
Time for discipline. Time for courage.
This is a copy of exactly what happened last time.
5 stages. 5 days. Wonderful sceneries. Where fatigue makes way for wonder. Between sky and land, sea and desert, without any limits, without any boundaries. Full echo of a unique world race. of an ancient city that looks forward. Innovation, tradition, magic. Abu Dhabi Tour, the one and only world tour race in the Middle East.
Well, that brings back some memories of a stunning race last year. We had some really thrilling stages here in Abu Dhabi. And of course, Abu Dhabi is beamed across the world as all the countries tune in so early in the cycling season to find out what is going to happen, to see the stars in action, because at that time in the year, they really want to know who's been training well during the winter and who we're going to see really emerge during the cycling season. So it's perfectly timed to bring a race here to Abu Dhabi. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm lucky enough every morning to greet the riders and every afternoon to find out who wins the stage. So I hope you'll join us for another great race here in Abu Dhabi in just about a month's time. Well, of course, the riders who are going to come here, and we have got the world stars coming here for the race, always want to know what they face, what they're actually going to have to ride here, what the route is going to be. And generally over the last few years, they know that there's going to be a number of sprint stages and there's going to be a mountain stage, perhaps on Jebel Hafit. That's become the stage that the climbers, the riders who go uphill fast, like to know all about. But this year, we're going to add something a little bit different to the Abu Dhabi Tour, which is going to add a little bit more spice, as I said earlier, and leave the suspense of this race right to the very last minute. So let's take a look now at the route of this year's race as we add one more day to the only World Tour race here in the Emirates. We seem to have a problem with the video, so maybe we'll move on and we'll get that video working in a second. Let's talk about the route. We'll put everything up on the screens in a second. So let's invite some special guests up onto the stage in the meantime, and then as soon as we get the indication, we will put the video on the backdrop. So please welcome onto the stage. We've seen him here already as he opened up with the first speech. We welcome back onto the stage His Excellency Mr. Arif Al Awani, the General Secretary of Abu Dhabi Sports Council. Let's welcome him onto the stage. We'll bring onto the stage also to join him. He's the CEO of RCS Sports and Events, DMCC. We welcome Enrico Fili. And ladies and gentlemen, to join them in the centre here, I'd like you to give him a very warm welcome, because he's flown in to join us at the beginning of what we hope is going to be another very successful season. He's won 30 stages in the Tour de France. He's a world champion. He's won 15 stages in the Giro d'Italia. He, of course, is now the rider who's won more stages of this race than anybody else. He rides for Dimension Data for Quebecer, Mark Cavendish. We'll just find out. Are we going to see the route video or are we not? I don't think we are. So maybe if we can put the route up onto the front here, and we'll talk through the stages that we're actually going to see. And then we'll ask maybe Mr. Arif Al Awani and Mark to talk through this with us rather than you see it on video. So stage number 1 is the sprinter stage. It takes the riders from Madinat Zayed to Adnoc School. It's a sprinter stage. It starts on the Wednesday, the 21st of February, 189 kilometres. This year's race is 686 kilometres of racing. So that is going to be the first stage. I think we're going to try and show you the route video just before we talk about this stage. Let's have one more go. Have we got the route video? Well, there we have it, the 5 stages of the Abu Dhabi Tour starting on the 21st of February, and a very different shape to the race from anything that we've seen before. We're going to talk a little bit about the race and find out what everyone thinks about it, and then find out about the publicity around the Abu Dhabi Tour as well. Maybe I'll start with Mark first of all. Mark, you've sat in many presentations of races, and I wonder, from a rider's perspective, when you're sitting there and you're looking at that route for the very first time, what's going through your mind as a rider? Give us an indication as you analyse the route for the first time.
Well, the first thing that goes through your mind is, like, you look at the distances of the stages and you just go like, why am I doing this as a job? You know, it's like, it's difficult, but no, it's nice. I like the thing I like about looking at the route here in Abu Dhabi Tour is actually is seeing the sights we go past. Like, you know, it's pretty spectacular. Like, something you get from being a cyclist, and the freedom you get from racing on the roads is you get to see some beautiful places. You know, things that people travel and take time to go and see. And we get to ride past Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque on the bikes. You know, and honestly, there's not one rider who's just not riding past and like looking.
Yeah, the peloton
like that.
literally is looking, aren't they?
It's incredible. Yeah. In terms of how the race goes, you just want, basically you want to look at stages you can win and difficulties for you. Those are the two things, you know. And with this race this year, the first 3 stages are obviously really good for me. And the other 2, actually, they don't provide a difficulty for me because my part of the day's already gone. If there's a sprint day at the end, for instance, I'd have to make sure that I could conserve energy up to Jebel Afit, you know. But it's nice to see the inclusion of a time trial. Traditionally here at Abu Dhabi Tour, the winner at Jebel Afit would win the overall. But the introduction of a time trial, it really makes it more open. You know, if somebody pulls back, breaks away by 20 seconds on Jebel Afit, potentially the guy who lost it can pull that 20 seconds back on the time trial, but or vice versa, you know. And it'll be a nice finish to the whole race there on top of the Green Mountains.
Do you think, from a rider's perspective in the peloton, and we're going to unveil some of the big names who are going to be here as well as Mark himself, do you think it changes the perspective of the tour riders who will think, actually, now there's a time trial in this, I would like to ride that because I can test my form early?
I think the fact that just in its 3rd year, Abu Dhabi Tour was promoted to World Tour status last year. That already attracted the best riders in the world, you know. Yeah. I think here, with the inclusion of the time trial, it just attracts the riders with a bigger intention to fight further, you know. You know, it was all or nothing with just one stage, whereas now there's if you lose something, if you have a problem, there's a chance to fight back, and I think it'll prove a more open race. There won't just be 2 or 3 guys contending. There'll be a lot more now, which is brilliant for the spectators, brilliant for the race.
Excellent. We'll ask you a little bit more about this race in a minute. Mr. Aref, of course, we need to say thank you to the sponsors of this year's race, and we've got Yas Island and Nation Towers and Al Maraya Island who have supported the middle stages there. They're all important, aren't they, to make sure that this race actually happens?
Yeah, for sure we are. We sure would like to thank all the stage sponsors, especially that we are here today in Al Maria Island, that everybody can test that. There have been a good experience from the beginning with Nation Tower and Yas Island to host us and to host the stages, plus other partners who are already in, which we already talking with them again to finalize the other stages. But for sure, when we look into the shape of the race right now, as Mark said, that we will not, the thrill of the race will continue to the last day. Having the mountain stage is the final, having the opportunity for all the sprinters to try to win the whole Abu Dhabi Tour. For sure, we are proud that the competition between the sprinters or the climbers are already there, and everybody is considering each stage is individual race itself, because the difficulty of each stage is not easy. Even the time trial is introduced, but they have tested, for example, the Dhafra stage in October with more than 40 degrees at the beginning of the race. So from the first edition, all the riders, they knew that when they are coming to Abu Dhabi Tour, it's not an easy race for them. It's going to be always a tough race. So that's what we are trying to keep. That's with all the technical team, with all the executive office which we are having, with our CS, with our technical directors. All of them are working to introduce that. We hope that the experience this year is going to be different. The race results will be surprising everybody. But for sure, I am happy that I'm listening to a feedback right now from one of the best riders who have been competing and winning the stages in Abu Dhabi Tour, our friend Mark, and our ambassador for sure. He's excited about the formula, and he will not consider it easy.
When you look through the stages, as we flicked through them on the backdrop there, which of the stages do you find particularly exciting? Because you know this route very well, and you've been very ambitious about this race.
I'm really excited about the new two things which we are introducing to this race. If we are talking about the time trial, it's going to be for the first time introducing individual time trial to the tour here. So it is a stage where everybody are going to have the opportunity to watch their best riders in a very close range. There is no need for them to travel around them. So we are expecting a lot of fans, especially in Abu Dhabi Island, to come and to join us in Al Maria Island to attend that race and to see all those famous riders competing here. The other stage which we are looking for and we are really excited about is to have the waterfront of Abu Dhabi. Yas stage this year, it will be out of the circuit, even though it was a good experience for everybody, but we tried, and with our sponsor Yas Island, they already would like us to explore more of the city, and at the same time we are proud in Abu Dhabi to have one of the best waterfronts in the world, having more than 300 islands in all over Abu Dhabi. So there is a lot of things the people will gonna see at that stage.
So we're being able to see Abu Dhabi in much more splendor,
yes,
with an extra day and everything else that's going on.
For the riders, it's going to be good, and they're going to have the sea breeze for at least 30 minutes, so it's going to be refreshing for them.
Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to it. That's the 5 different stages that the riders will face between the 21st and the 25th of February. Now, of course, when we come to the stages, there's an awful lot that goes into winning an individual stage. So I thought I'd get some stats on the backdrop and give you an idea of those individual stages, some of the statistics that we might see from the riders. And I thought Mark would be quite interesting to analyse, because he's certainly a rider who watches all the other riders, analyses races. We know him as someone who's almost got a photographic memory of what happened in a sprint, moving so quickly. But just give you an idea here on the backdrop of Mark last year on one of his stages. This is stage number 1. Mark's average sprint speed over the last run into the finish was 69 kilometres an hour. As he ran into the finish behind his sprint train and unleashed his sprint. He hit 73.3 kilometers an hour as he hit the finishing line. It just shows the speed of a rider unleashing that sort of tempo. Mark, that's a very fast sprint, 73 kilometers an hour.
Actually, it's not as fast as we can go. Actually, the sprint finish into Madinat Zayed, normally the wind comes from the front and right of you. You know, you can see that from the flag in the picture. So actually, with a slight headwind, it actually slows you down a bit. I had a great lead out for my team, which obviously helps if you can start at a higher speed. You have more energy to get even faster. But yeah, if we went the other way down the road, it'd be a bit quicker than that. But
so maybe now near 80k an hour.
Well, I think what makes it, without blowing the trumpet of riders, like what makes it the most impressive is not the actual speed we do, it's the fact we do it after nearly 200 kilometers, you know, in the desert. You know, that takes a lot of energy away from you for it. So the thing about being a sprinter, it's not about how hard you can go, it's about how hard you can go when you're already on the limit of your abilities, you know.
Sure.
And this is where, you know, it kind of separates us from the other guys, really. So.
Yeah, because you remember Mark is sitting with his team, and cycling, for those of you who don't know, in detail is a team sport. So he has to sit with his team and save his energy, and they look after him so he can unleash these sort of sprints. Mark, I was looking at stage 2, and your maximum sprint speed was 73k an hour again. Marcel Kittel, when he won stage number 2, he hit 68.8, and Caleb Ewan hit 64.1 as a maximum speed, which clearly shows, Mark, that you are the fastest sprinter in the world.
Do you want to know a funny story? Like this is, yeah, they're not as good, so it's that simple. But a funny story. Like I got ill last year. I had mononucleosis, like glandular fever, and actually had it in this race. So I'm proud I could win a stage of Abu Dhabi while I was sick, but it explains kind of through the race a decline in performance. Yeah. And you can see normally when the sprints are getting slower, I should be winning them because I'm faster. And it actually put me to rest when I realised that I shouldn't really be on a bike, you know, but also made me happy that I could win as ambassador Abu Dhabi Tour. So.
Well, it was great to see you win, and I'm glad you're over that illness that you had last year. This is an interesting stat. This shows average sprint speed over the last 300 metres in the race last year on one of the stages. Marcel Kittel hit 65.9. As an average. Caleb was at 61, Mark was at 61.4, and the others just over 60 kilometres an hour. You're so close together, aren't you, on your average speed on the run into a finish. But the stage winner, Marcel, of course, his average, maybe his train was quicker, or he had to come from further back.
It was a headwind finish, he came from behind. It's incredible. Like with a car, like you see Formula 1 cars at Yas Marina circuit, they use a slipstream to get a slingshot to pass the car in front. Like the engines are
your engines,
pretty
your
similarly
legs.
matched. You know, it's the same with a rider. If the wind's coming in front and you're behind, you actually can save up to 50% of your energy by more than that. You can save 70% of your energy, I reckon, by slipstreaming. And in a sprint at those speeds, you know, if you can put half the amount of power out, if you put the same amount of power out, the actual speed increase is extortionate, you know. So it's all about, it's not just about going as hard as you can, it's all about tactics. Yeah. The thing is, the further back you are, the more likely, the bigger the risk there is to crash, the bigger the risk there is for the road to be blocked in front of you by other riders.
By another crash, yeah.
So you have to kind of balance the risk of using your energy by being in front, or risking being blocked from being behind. And obviously on this day, Marcel did it right. He got his tactics right, and he was able to win. So I think he won this stage, yeah.
He did. Stage 4, we haven't got stats on the time trial, but we just put this up because this year we're going to have the world time trial champion, Tom Dumoulin, come here to Abu Dhabi again, and he will look to try and win the time trial. Mr. RF, having Tom Dumoulin here as world time trial champion is great for the race.
For sure, especially that we did attended his nice, I think, or amazing winning of Giro Italia. So we are having the champion of Giro Italia coming in. I think this is going to be interesting for everybody to watch Tom and to watch all the other riders.
And his world champion as well, in the time trial.
Yeah, world champion in the time trial.
Jersey.
So he'll be here in the rainbow bands as the world champion, so you'll instantly spot him. Final stage we'll just quickly have a look at is the Jebel Hafit climb, where we'll see the duel for the overall victory. And interestingly, just to give you an idea of the power that these riders put out, on the final climb last year, Tom Dumoulin's average watts was 418 watts, and Interestingly, Rafael Valls was 3:9:1, so he wasn't too far behind, but the difference in the climb time was pretty significant. Mark, these guys are putting out lots of power for a long period of time, whereas you put out peak power for a shorter period of time.
Yeah, these are your kind of diesel engines, you know, turbo diesel engines. But yeah, it's actually what's interesting about these stats. So these guys, like, yeah, they can never go as high as we can, but they can stay on that red line for a lot longer. But what's interesting here is actually, yeah, like you said, Rafael Valls is his peak power, his average power for the climb. He should have been up there with the front guys, but you can see he's quite a bit slower. Now although it's uphill and you're going at a slower speed, like, wind resistance again plays a big factor, you know, especially up there on Jebel Afit. It is windy, and this is he's not a heavy rider, which obviously if you're heavy you're going to put a bigger power output to go the same speed. But this is obviously, he spends a lot of time in the wind. He doesn't like to be on the wheel. Maybe he's nervous to be on the wheel, or his tactics aren't very good, but he spent too much time in the wind, and so for the same amount of effort he could have been with Tom Dumoulin, who was in third time, you know, so.
Yeah. It's intriguing. We could talk about stats and the analysis for a long time, because Mark knows very well exactly how these nuances of the sport work. But we need to find out a little bit about the publicity around this race. So Enrico Fili, who's the CEO here in Abu Dhabi and in the UAE, can you tell us what is going to happen with this race? How much publicity, what's surrounding it, television, and all that sort of thing?
Yes, this year, as we said, we have upgraded the race from a content point of view, because we will have one additional stage. This will mean that we have one additional day of broadcasting worldwide. So this is a great chance to showcase Abu Dhabi all around the world. And this year we hit the record of 185 countries reached by the race. This is an amazing result, and this showing us a growth every edition. Obviously, the heart of the content production is here. Thanks to Abu Dhabi Sport Channel and Abu Dhabi Media, we will be able to broadcast all the race in the MENA region with great additional content, with great analysis in the studio, great data to be showcased to the spectators. So this is a very, very great value that the race gives to our sponsor and to all the people involved in this race. Worldwide, we partnered again with Eurosport. We will have more than 100 elements pushing the audience to see the race. We will be prime time in many, many important countries. And this year we will have a big digital pressure on the mobile channel of Eurosport. And let's say again, the great content we will showcase with the time trial, with the additional stage, will engage the audience greatly in television. But this is our new campaign. Obviously the logo and the hashtag and the motto are always the same, but this...
We still use Ride to Abu Dhabi that we've used all the time. That's been the theme all the way through.
Yeah. We will see it all around Abu Dhabi, and because at the end of the day, this is the Abu Dhabi Tour, and the race is for Abu Dhabi, it's for the citizen, for the population. And obviously, we have a great program to entertain them and to make them come and see the race. We will have the fan zone in the amazing Nation Tower, where will be a lot of entertainment. There will be the trophy exposure. This will be open before the race, so from the 15th of February. So all the family can go there and enjoy and get exposed to the brand and to the race and feel the cycling experience. This year we will introduce the Caravan. It's a big truck with line of track showcasing the jersey, big inflatable jersey that will go all around the city, touching the main landscape of Abu Dhabi, and so bringing the race to the people and bringing the families, the kids to the race.
But of course, the Caravan is in big races in the world. The Giro d'Italia, we have the Caravana before the race comes along, and it adds something else, doesn't it?
Yeah. It adds entertainment, and it adds brand awareness, and make the race more close to the families, to the people of the city. We will continue pushing the educational program. It's a program in which we believe very much, because we involve this year more than 1,000 students. We go in the school, we discuss about cycling, about the race, about healthy lifestyle, about how to drive safely with the bike. So this is very important, because the children get exposed to cycling and to this sport. It's a very, very healthy sport for them. Lastly, for the amateurs, for anyone that loves cycling, we organize a free challenge to make people feel the same feeling than the top riders. So we will have Jebel Afit, so we can climb up on the mountains. We will have the time trial in the Yas Marina circuits, another amazing location. And then we have the knockout. It's more an entertainment race, but at the end you have to stay with the peloton. Otherwise you are kicked out of the race. So
okay. But that's great, a great addition for everyone to feel not quite what the professional riders do, but they get to have the same experience.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's the publicity. Thank you very much, Enrico, for just touching on exactly how much publicity this race is going to get. It is seen in 184 countries. It really showcases this area so well. Well, of course, we need to unveil to you which teams, which stars are going to be here for the race this season. So let's take a look at the teams that we're going to have here in Abu Dhabi over the course of the 5 days. We have got in total 17 of the 18 World Tour teams here, 15 different nations, 50 nationalities will be represented here in Abu Dhabi. The biggest names in the world of cycling, and Mark might just help us touch on some of these names that we have here. The winner of the Giro d'Italia, the world time trial champion, Tom Dumoulin, who, of course, last year was third to Rui Costa. Fabio Aru, the winner of the Vuelta a España, the Tour of Spain, who leads UAE Team Emirates here. Mark Cavendish will be with us. He's looking forward to that first sprint stage. Maybe we'll see him in the red jersey. Marcel Kittel, who won so many stages of the Tour de France, has moved teams and now rides for Katusha Alpecin. Caleb Ewan is back. He's won a stage here, of course, last year. Andre Greipel, who has just won a stage in the Tour Down Under. He's opened his season very well indeed. Alexander Kristoff, another fantastic sprinter, the European champion. Rui Costa comes back to defend his title. Alejandro Valverde had a terrible crash last year in the Tour de France and is now back. Elia Viviani, who's a stage winner here previously, has moved teams to Quick Step Floors, so he is welcomed back. And Ilno Zakarin, who was second last year. Mark, some huge names joining you here in the peloton in just a month's time.
Yeah, it's great, and it shows just what status Abu Dhabi Tour has now in world cycling. It's the second World Tour event of the year. And obviously, personally, it's for me very important, you know. And I know seeing the riders that are here, it's a peloton of riders that you're only going to see at a Grand Tour. Otherwise, you know, it's the best riders in the world. Like Ara said, Giro d'Italia winner and world time trial champion Tom Dumoulin, winner of Vuelta. Like there's big riders here, and it means something to them, not just coming to prepare for something else. There's a lot at stake, and that's what's great to see. We saw already while the race was World Tour last year how much the kind of speed of the whole race moved up, the distance obviously moved up, and it really makes it competitive. So.
Well, that's the riders that we're unveiling now. We look forward to welcoming them here in a month's time. Before we say goodbye to our three guests on the stage, we should just ask Mark, your winter's gone well. You're feeling ready for the start of the season?
Yeah, very much so, thank you. All good. Touch wood.
All good.
Touch wood, yeah.
All good and ready. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank our three guests who've been so insightful here on the stage this afternoon. Thank you, Mark. We'll welcome them back for the photographs right at the end. Well, we've found out about the route, we've found out about the riders. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's unveil the jerseys of the Abu Dhabi Tour for this year. We give you the leaders' jerseys of the Abu Dhabi Tour, of course, produced by Castelli. And now we introduce to all of you the various different jerseys. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first jersey is the red jersey. It signifies the leader of the race on time. So please welcome onto the stage the leaders' jersey of the Abu Dhabi Tour, the red jersey. And we welcome here onto the stage to say a few words, Ali Aid Al-Meri of Al Maria Island, the Executive Director of Mubadala Real Estate and Infrastructure. Give him a warm welcome. Say a few words about the red jersey. Thank you very much.
Great. First of all, being the main sponsor for the red jersey, something that is very important for us to say. For us, being the sponsors, the easiest job is actually to give the money for these kind of deals. So all of the effort for the vision of our leadership and the good work that the Abu Dhabi Sports Council have made in bringing such an event to Abu Dhabi that got the name of Abu Dhabi out to the world. So this is something truly grandest work that the Abu Dhabi Sports Council have done that. For us, for Al Maria Island, to be able to associate ourselves with such an event is very important. We're always trying to encourage people for the healthy lifestyles on Al Maria, so associating ourselves with such a sport was very important for us. It was a no-brainer for us to sponsor it. I believe that this is the second year we sponsor this event. Hopefully it won't be the last. And we're very excited about the time trial route. And this was something that was discussed between me and Mr. Arif 2 years ago. And the discussion was, how can we get Mark to actually win the Abu Dhabi Tour? So we thought about putting in that stage. So maybe this year will be the year where he'll win that.
Let's see what happens on Al Maria Island. Thank you very much. Thank you for your sponsorship of the red jersey. We're going to ask you to stand in there next to the red jersey, and with Adara and Alexandra, who are our Etihad crew, and the official photograph of the red jersey. thank you very much to Al Marai Island for sponsoring the red jersey, and thank you to Ali Aid Al Meri for saying a few words about the jersey. Let's move on then to the green jersey. The green jersey signifies the leader of the race in the points classification, and of course Mark Cavendish has won that jersey and defends it this season. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the green jersey, sponsored by Emirates Post. And we welcome to the stage Obaid Mohammed Al Khatami, the Acting Chief Executive Officer of Emirates Post Group.
Thank you.
Just invite you just to say a few words about your sponsorship of the green jersey.
Well, Emirates Post is proud, honestly, to partner with the Abu Dhabi Sport Council, and we're proud, to be part of the fourth season of the Abu Dhabi Tour. And UCI, World Tour, honestly provide a platform for Abu Dhabi to convey the rich heritage and diverse the culture of our great nation. As we are, as one of the leading postal provider within the region, we aim, honestly, to bring to our community over here our commitment for our community in terms of supporting the sporting events, and such of a great sport events in this country, which is Abu Dhabi Tour.
Well, thank you very much for sponsoring the jersey. We welcome you to the Abu Dhabi Tour. It's wonderful to see your brand and logo on the jersey. We'll ask you to stand next to the green jersey, and in between our Etihad crew, the Acting Chief Commercial Officer of Emirates Post Group, Obaid Mohammed Al Khatami. Ladies and gentlemen, the green jersey. Thank you very much. And thank you for saying a few words about that sponsorship. And we welcome Emirates Post for the first time as sponsor of that green jersey. We now move on to the white jersey for the best young rider. Please show your appreciation and welcome the white jersey. And we welcome onto the stage Nasser Yousaf Al-Zabi, the Head of Government Relations of Abu Dhabi Media. I think you're going to stand quickly for a photograph there. Of course, Abu Dhabi Media have been the sponsors of this jersey for the last few seasons, so we welcome them back and we say thank you very much to you for being the sponsor again of the white jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Show your appreciation for the white jersey, sponsored by Abu Dhabi Sports Channel, and we thank again Nasser Yousaf Al-Zabi, the Head of Government Relations for Abu Dhabi Media, for joining us here on the stage. Thank you. We're going to welcome now our final jersey, which is the black jersey, which is the leader of the intermediate sprint. So ladies and gentlemen, along the route every day, the riders sprint for points, and they accumulate points in those intermediate sprints, and the black jersey is awarded to the leader of that classification. Please welcome, of course, sponsored by Etihad Airways, the black jersey. We welcome onto the stage Patrick Pearce, the Vice President of Marketing Partnerships of Etihad Airways, to say a few words.
Hi, Anthony. Thank you very much.
Patrick, nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to be here. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, what a great moment. This is our fourth year sponsoring the Abu Dhabi Tour. I have to say, just sitting here listening to Mark, it sounded like I was in a cockpit. He was talking about speed, he was talking about wind, he was talking about power, he was talking about distance. So there's a lot of correlation with our business, and safety is an element as well. But you know, our pilots are big cyclists, our cabin crew are cyclists, and many of our staff are cyclists as well. So it's neat to align with a sport that means so much to our workforce. But it means a lot to showcase Abu Dhabi and to showcase the landscape and the landmarks that we're so proud of. And so for us as an airline, we're trying to draw business and leisure travelers to the capital, and I think doing it through sport and doing it with Abu Dhabi media is a fantastic way. But last but not least, it's about Abu Dhabi to the world. 50 nationalities from 5 continents is a great reflection of our guests and our cabin crew that come from 149 nationalities. So once again, thank you for the opportunity for the event, and we're proud to serve as the official airline partner here in 2018.
Well, it's great to welcome you again, and we always enjoy seeing the Etihad Airways logos and everything, and welcoming the crew every day. Patrick, join the jersey there. I know Mark and I will be flying back with Etihad Airways after this presentation. So there we are, the black jersey, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Patrick Pearce, the Vice President of Marketing Partnerships of Etihad Airways, for again joining us here on the Abu Dhabi Tour. It's wonderful to have them as a partner. Well, we're nearly finished, but we, of course, along the way, need to just say thank you to all our sponsors, and in particular to the top sponsors, Al Maria Island, Emirates Post, Abu Dhabi Sports Media, and Etihad Airways. Our thanks to our stage sponsors, to Yas Island, to Nations Towers, and to Al Maria Island. And just to mention, Emirates Motor Company will be driving in their cars throughout the race, supporting everything that actually happens. And we have our official timing partner, which is Tag Heuer. And along the way, they never crack under pressure. So we're going to welcome onto the stage the brand director of Tag Heuer, Nicholas Pick, just to say a few words about the sponsorship that Tag Heuer bring to this race. Nicholas, a very warm welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Tag Heuer is very proud for the second year in a row to be the official timekeeper of the Abu Dhabi Tour. And to be here today to launch the countdown to the first stage that will take place on February 21st. So the countdown is launched. I'm also here to present the Don't Crack Under Pressure prize that will be awarding to the most epic Don't Crack Under Pressure, the most impressive performance during the tour. We will offer this beautiful Carrera watch. It's an initiative we launched last year, and so Marcel Kittel being awarded in 2017. Ahead of the race, we're also delighted to announce that we will be taking part in the Yas Marina Circuit Amateur Challenge as official timekeeper. About Tag Heuer and cycling. The relationship between Tag Heuer and cycling dates back from 1946. But fast forward to 1985, Tag Heuer ventured into the world of professional cycling when into professional cycling as sponsor of the Heuer Skillsam team and its leader Sean Kelly. From 87 to 1990, the brand's involvement continued with Team Tag Heuer and the American 711 cycling team, founded by none other than Jim Oshowicz, the current president and general manager of BMC Racing Team, our partner since 2017 season. Tag Heuer will now be partnering 10 major races in the international calendar, including the Abu Dhabi Tour, which will be on Tag Heuer time. I thank you for your attention, and I wish the cycling teams the best of luck and not to crack under pressure. Thank you.
Nicholas, thank you. I'm going to ask you to stay here with us. So, honoured guests, we are now 29 days and 1 hour from the start of the Abu Dhabi Tour, starting on the 21st of February, 5 individual stages, including the new time trial stage. This is the only World Tour race here in the UAE, and it really sets the season up absolutely perfectly. I'm going to invite back onto the stage for the final photograph please welcome back our sponsors and our guests onto the stage to just come up and join us for the final photograph. So we welcome Mark Cavendish back. We welcome back onto the stage Enrico Fili. We welcome His Excellency Mr. Arif Al-Awani, and we welcome all our guests and our sponsors for the final photograph alongside Adara and Alexandra from our Etihad crew. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here for the start of the run-in to this year's Abu Dhabi Tour. We thank all of you for attending. We thank all our sponsors and our ambassador Mark Cavendish, and we look forward to seeing you on stage number 1 on the 21st of February. Bye for now. Have a safe journey home. Thank you very much to all of you for being with us here this afternoon.